Good morning. Welcome to Natasha Makes. Jane, are we still saying Happy New Year?
I think we should. It's only the 4th.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
If you didn't watch us yesterday or the day before, Happy New Year to you. Jane, did you have a good one?
I had a lovely time, thank you.
Good.
Wasn't very busy. It was nice and restful.
Sometimes
Times
you need
with
that,
family, which is lovely. So yeah, really nice.
Perfect. Good. Ready for the new year ahead?
Yes.
Excellent.
It seems like we started us with me to carry on this morning.
No.
We were busy meandering around, taking our time, and SJ went, "You've got 10 minutes." We went, "What?" Don't panic, Mr. Mannering.
I'm so lovely time ordering things.
Yes.
Have a bit of this, I'll have a bit of that, thank you very much, and one of those, and oh, yeah. So I haven't actually brushed my hair. Excuse me, I'm a bit of a mess this morning. Never mind.
A beautiful mess, I have to say.
Well, I realise I now merge with some of the products we've got on the show today. Jane, this is our last subscription, which means that we're busily sorting out a new subscription for those of you that should wish it. This has been incredibly popular. This
Absolutely.
has been our planes subscription. I wonder if people want to go around again with the planes.
Why not?
Don't know.
There might be people that may not have been here at the beginning that want to catch up.
Or just want another quarter.
Yeah.
Fat quarter, long quarter, as you go around. Don't know. Talk to us, people. Tell us. Where's my phone? Oh, here. This is how you can talk to us. So, I found a very natty little gadget. I'll show you later.
Don't laugh. You make yourself cough when you laugh.
Excuse me. You can just carry on, Jane.
Yeah. I think I'll just keep walking away from you.
I've had this for weeks now.
It's your children. They're so generous.
They're little petri dishes.
Yes.
That's all they are. And I think it's when you move into a new area,
Yes.
it feels like we've been ill for months now.
Yeah.
And I think you just get everything, don't you?
Yes, you pick up all the bugs that are available. Yeah.
Enough now, I say. Enough. Enough. Right. Bear with me while I find everybody and find you and say hello to you. Jane, would you like to tell me about the natty little gadget that I have found for us today?
This beautiful little bobbin holder. Do you want to go overhead?
Yeah. Here you go.
Look at that. How handy is that? You get all those bobbins in there. Do you know how many it holds?
Lots.
Must be at least 50. I don't know how many it holds. But that's really handy. And it's like rubberized, so it's not going to slip and slide everywhere, is it?
Nope. No. And also, when you put them in, you see you can sort of wind it round so you keep the ends in.
Yeah, so you haven't got them all tangled up to each other.
I think that is very handy.
Does it fit the metal ones for the... Yeah, all sizes, because it's got a little bit of give to it, so you can squidge all your sizes in.
I really like it, I have to say. And you could always put a little pin in your wall and hang it.
Yes.
Ha-ha. Right, let's say good morning to Eds. Good morning, Eds.
Hi.
Eds is responsible
For the wonderful advent calendars.
There were nothing missing in the advent calendar. We love that. Morning, Tracy. Morning, Donna. Morning, Vicky. Good morning, Julia. Good morning, Heidi from sunny Cyprus.
Yeah, okay.
If it rains anymore.
We'll have to develop gills.
No. I look at the river when I go over the bridge in the morning. I'm like, could that be any higher?
Probably could.
Go, oh, do you worry about flooding? I'm like, no, I live on the first floor.
Yeah, I'll be all right, Jack.
That's not a me problem, as our lovely John Cormorgan would say. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Jenny. Morning, ladies. Happy New Year. Has anyone else not received last month's subscription?
Oh, I hope not. We'll have to investigate that.
Send us an email, Jenny. We will sort that out. Morning, Joe. Morning, Jimmy. Morning, Michael. Morning, Claire. Good morning, Yvonne. Good morning, Samantha. Good morning to your mum.
Morning, Mum.
Morning. Morning, Karen. She's back from the dentist just in time. She'd love a brew, but her mouth is very numb.
Oh, dear.
Can't trust herself to drink yet. What about a straw? Did you manage a straw?
Well, they advise you to leave it, don't they, for an hour, if you've had a filling or whatever.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I don't know about these things. Who else have we got? And Jane, good morning. Another Jane. And Julia, good morning. Good morning, top of the morning to you. Can I just show everybody this? We've got such incredible people. Now, this was made for us by one of our lovely Jane viewers. Look at this.
It's just beautiful, and the work that's gone into that. I mean,
I don't know how you cross-stitch so...
It's very neat.
Tinily, smally,
yes.
tiny...
Neatly. Evenly. It's beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Absolutely.
So thank you very much for a beautiful card. We've had really beautiful cards.
We've had lovely cards. We've had handmade ones.
We've had
gifts.
I mean, we
had a beautiful fruit basket yesterday, didn't we?
We did, Ali. Thank you. Our fruit basket arrived. We're like, what is this?
I thought you'd ordered something for somebody because it came, it was addressed to you.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, it must be something that Natasha's ordered, for somebody else. It's got M&S. Yeah, we do.
Yep.
And then Natasha opened it. We were like,
oh, squeak! We did squeak and squeal. I want to put those somewhere safely because we have a box where we keep all of our
Yes,
cards
it's nice to look in. It's nice to look in. We dip into it occasionally when we're feeling a bit it brightens us.
Yeah, if we have a day, that's the one. So, today is the plain subscription. Jenny, get in contact if yours has gone astray. The post is a bit up and...
Yeah, we've still got things that have not quite got there. It's always worth just checking with your distribution centre, if you've got one, your local one, because we've had a couple of instances of labels being damaged or packaging being damaged, and they hold on to it.
So much volume, haven't they?
They had such a big backlog
of
parcels, obviously with it being Christmas time, the extra for that. And we've seen pictures on social media of piles and piles of packaging just waiting to be sorted and distributed.
Well, that's just it. I mean, I sent flowers through the post, to be delivered to, to an elderly lady. And they were meant to be there on the 23rd. And I've used this company for years. I've sent my mum flowers through this subscription for every month for the last 2 years. Never a problem. Christmas should be there on the 23rd. No. Still waiting in the DPD depot.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they're fresh flowers. No, that's not going to be a thing on the 27th.
Yeah, and that's not Royal Mail, that's DPD. And of course
they're picking up the slack.
Yeah, they got,
Anyway, that's really boring.
Yes.
So we won't worry about that. But anyway, that's just an aside.
But, if you still are waiting for parcels, do get in touch, because if I can, I'll track it for you and we'll try and find out where it's got to.
That's why we send everything signed for.
Yeah.
It costs us extra. But do you remember we had a whole sack go missing?
Yes.
And we couldn't track any of it, and there was absolutely nothing that we could do with Royal Mail at all. And they said, you've got to pay the extra to track it. If you've got that tracking, then you've got a leg to stand on.
Yeah, it gives us a little bit of insurance, doesn't it? If anything goes missing, we can claim for it.
Well,
and we
can't.
No, you can claim for it. And we can try and find out where it's got to as best as we can.
Yeah.
So we do, if we can, we find out.
But that's why we pay the extra on your postage for that. It's just a little FYI. In case you're getting annoyed at having to sign for everything, that's why. Let's have a look at Half Meter Heavens for tomorrow.
Beautiful.
We had a massive clear out of Half Meter Heavens, so we're starting afresh.
Lovely.
Which I really, really like.
Yes.
Really, really like. So, not that there were many left.
No, there weren't actually.
By the time that we'd gone through it on our little Facebook Lives a couple of times.
Yeah, disappeared.
Yeah. Here we go. Elisa Chandler Blossom. Beautiful. Beautiful with the green. Love it.
Just lovely with a little bit of metallic in there. It's just really pretty.
Well, we have got 5 of each. We've got green and we've got blue.
They look really nice.
They are absolutely gorgeous. Do we need a close-up of these, Jane?
I think you do, particularly on the blue, because it's got a silver metallic and the shading is just stunning. And we always say about Lisa's metallic, it's got a shimmer to it. It's not flat. It's got a lovely...
But it's also soft.
Soft movement. Yeah.
So that's rather exquisite. The green is gold. That makes sense. It's got this gold metallic on there.
Which sets the green off beautifully.
Oh, just doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Now talking another one with metallic in there is this lovely one. It's got that rose gold metallic. This isn't a Lisa Chandler. This is actually a Moda one.
It's a ruby star, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got that beautiful selvage on it, which is beautiful.
Isn't that just gorgeous with the rose gold? So we've had gold, silver and rose gold. Quite like showing them this way. This is your Lewis and Irene. How gorgeous are these?
They're super cute.
Do you know what? If you're making something for a mum-to-be...
Yeah.
Storage boxes
yes,
in these.
Absolutely.
Just beautiful.
Neutral.
I've only got 2 of these.
That's rather classic, isn't
it's your
it?
Brer Rabbit.
See a beautiful piped edge cushion with that. That's all you need to do. Shows off the pattern beautifully.
Now this, I want to say this is a Moda as well. Pansies, poppies and cream.
That is a beautiful fabric.
Isn't it gorgeous with the chartreuse?
Chartreuse. That'd make a lovely beach bag, wouldn't it?
Oh, just in any kind of bag.
Yeah.
Now, I've only got a few of these. The last of Puffin Rocks. Look at the puffins. And we've picked out the gold. I love these.
They're beautiful. Love a puffin.
These go live at midnight tonight in case you're wondering where and how. If you are new to us, good morning. Now, what about house leeks? Actually, I'm going to go overhead for this one because this doesn't have all the intricacy.
No, you need to see the whole print because it's beautiful.
These are the last ones of these that we've got as well. And then this one's gone.
Look at that. Beautiful colours.
Bit special, isn't it?
This
is the Philip Jacobs
lovely.
McKay Facet Collective.
I love the colourways in that. I love this house leeks. I think it's a beautiful pattern.
It really is a rather stunning one, isn't it?
It's a versatile one. It's one of those that you can have really good fussy cutting or using it in different ways. You'd end up with lots of different colours in there.
Now, if you want to go classic,
that's beautiful.
A little bit of a Sashko theme to that.
Yeah,
feels
it's
like.
lovely.
Gorgeous.
Oh, slurp of coffee.
And then...
Was that with midnight or navy?
With midnight.
Oh,
I went
nice.
darker.
Yes, it really does show it off beautifully, doesn't it? Yeah.
And then navy, I did with this. Now, I tried to do this with gold and it just didn't work.
No.
I've got 3 of these and then that gone in the Tilda. But I thought, actually, that looks a bit weird with it, doesn't it?
It's lovely.
Like I said, I've only got 3 of those and then they are gone. That's it. Oh, I've just had the cards through for the new Tilda. We are always working like about 18 months in advance for Tilda, aren't we?
Yes.
So I know
it's exciting.
In. I know what's coming in. I'm going to put those up there. And then Gemma's going to shout at me because I haven't taken them out to give to her. Right, let's whip out the plains, shall we, Jane? And go through each of these. Now, each month when we've done our plain subscription, we have gone through our shelves and gone, what? It's like a reverse half meter heaven, isn't it? It's like,
yes.
Here are your plains. Now let's find you the pattern that you would like to go with it.
There is some beautiful, these are the neutrals, so they're the creams going through to beige, there's latte in there, vanilla, natural seeded. They're all beautiful, soft.
They are not
creamy.
The ones I get excited about, but they are your bread and butter.
They're the ones that you're going to need in your stash. You'll just need them. They'll go with most things, and it's amazing the different tones, in there.
And that's what I was really amazed by, was just the diversity of prints that we found. So if we just started off with like, that is clearly going to work with our Harvest Mice from Lewis and Irene. These are all on the website. If you go and click on Workshop Wednesday, scroll underneath where you can view us, and it just say shop the show and the products, and then
Gemma's tagged them all in, hasn't
select
she?
all or see all or view all or whatever one it is.
I think it's view all.
Yeah.
Because it only shows up
like you've only got like 3 things on the show.
We've got more than that.
We've probably only got about 3 of those jobby what's it's left. What do I mean by jobby what's it?
I can't think.
Bobbin holders.
Bobbin holders.
I didn't have loads. Now I'm going to spin this around so I've got the names. My end.
These are the beautiful Wandle Morris & Co, aren't they? And it's these neutrals just look amazing with them.
I'm going to fan them, Jane.
That's a nice idea.
And then you can just see which ones pick up where. So if we just put them on top of each one, you can just see which ones pull. And this is all we do when we go through the warehouse. It's like, right, waft these near them. Do they pick up a colour? Do they suit it? Yes. This is Severn in blue. I love this. It's simple. It's clean. It's a classic for me.
Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba.
And I think blues and creams look really lovely together.
Well, that's just it, because did you realise that on this one, the Strawberry Thief, he's kind of creamy?
Yeah. And actually, when you put the vanilla against it, which is this one here, vanilla's got a more yellowy tone to it. Look how suddenly that really pops then. It really lifts it. And it's amazing how that works.
Because I would have said, oh no, what you need with this is just your plain white, which does look great. But if you were to do today's quilt, let me just show you behind, and maybe just have your Strawberry Thieves picked out in there.
Yeah, you can use it in your centre squares and the corners, or add a complete border of it.
Gorgeous.
It would be stunning.
Yeah. So you've always got that option. Of course, there's a scale. Well, just fan them out. That'll do. And then make them a mess, Jane. Making a mess.
But it's amazing the different tones within the neutrals that work with different things.
So this one. Suddenly we're looking at these tones here.
Yeah.
And again, this is another classic, isn't it? This is your Stand and Lily.
Yeah.
You look at it, you know that is William Morris.
And again, that's a lovely neutral colourway that will fit in with most things. You know, you could put a lovely bright, vibrant red with that as well as your neutrals. It would really pick it out. Sometimes you forget that these can work as background fabrics as well as your focus one.
Yes, of course. Well, yeah, I mean, that one in today's quilt would be stunning. Now, this is your small pimpernel in blue.
It's gorgeous.
Just yes.
You use that as your focus fabric, your border, and you've got all those neutrals inside there, and it just
it's going to pull the lot. And again, look at this one with your willow bough.
Yeah, because that's got this little bit of beige.
So you're going to be
gold
looking
colour
at
in
maybe
there.
bringing in those and your white for
Yeah.
that. Stunning. Oh, this was the first one that you went to. Look at that one with it.
Yeah, it's just got all the tones in.
It's got all of it in. So these were the first ones that we were kind of drawn to and we went, oh,
Yeah,
yes,
they're classic, aren't they?
please.
And they would just look stunning with them.
We picked out some Cafe. Where did that go to?
Well,
We picked out more than that, didn't we? Ooh,
have we left it behind?
we might have done. Do you know, I didn't double check when I said to everyone, can we just grab the rest? Because we were faffing, weren't we, Jane?
Yes.
And we suddenly went, oh. Now,
Gemma
I've
will have
only
tagged them in, so when you go and look at the show,
Mm.
the caves that we chose will be tagged in. Because we were surprised, because we don't think of cave as having neutrals, do we? We're
I
like,
think my words were, I'm not even going to bother going near the cave for these.
yeah, cave doesn't do beige.
It doesn't do beige, but we've got some Millefiores, we've got some that have got some of these in, and we're like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a nice embroidered shawl one, wasn't there, that got the tones
really
in?
beautiful
Yeah.
one. Yes, that we didn't have very much of. I need to sort out my hair this morning, brush it or something. Do you know what I often do, Jane? Not going to lie.
It's a quilting clip.
Yeah. Quick, clip it out of the way. Yes. So that, I think, this one helps if I show you, doesn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. That's
We
a bit of
only
Robert
have,
Kaufman of the... is it Cherry Blossom, this one?
Yeah, we have got Cherry Blossom in Cornflower. We've got 2 units, I think, of that left, and it's gone.
Yeah, beautiful.
These are all on the website. These are available now. These aren't like the half-metre heavens. So these do
This
have more
one.
expensive price tag.
Well, they've got
'cause that's-
metallics on
yeah,
them.
and that's, it kind of shows you what we should be charging the Lisa Chandler out at. We don't.
Yes, and we don't. This
That's
one.
on me, that is.
This has got all of the tones in, and again, it's got
Oh,
this
isn't it
lovely gold
beautiful?
metallic. It's really rich, but you know, it gives a lovely calmness.
If you're making for someone and you're not quite sure if they could cope with Cafe or anything like that, then these are the ones. Or if you're making
if you're not
to
sure,
sell,
or you're not sure of their colour scheme,
then
you know,
neutral
a
is really
neutral
safe.
is a really nice one to have.
What about those? The fans. We're a fan of the fans.
This is a really pretty print, and
Isn't it
again,
gorgeous?
this one, you know, use large pieces of this cushion fronts and things like that. It's just really lovely. Or you can have fun cutting out pieces and appliquing them onto a plainer background.
Really wide border of something.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lovely
Gorgeous.
fabric, and this has got a silver metallic to it, which is
Do you know what?
stunning.
If you're feeling very decadent, what if this is the backing of your quilt?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And you know, and you just
flip it over occasionally.
There it is. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah.
Because then you'd get that big
Yes.
print.
You need to see it, don't you?
Do you know
It's
what I would
lovely.
love to do with this as well? I'd love to make a screen.
Yes. Oh yes, it would look lovely, wouldn't it, as a screen?
Oh, wouldn't it be lovely?
Absolutely.
What's that from, Jane?
My Fair Lady.
Yes, it is. Because I had a complete block then, I couldn't remember. This is, I think, this fold.
Is it the last one? Is this one of the ones that Lisa is discontinuing?
I'm not sure if she's doing the blue, which would be a crying shame, and I would cry quite a lot if she didn't. But look at that. I'm going to roll this out a little bit. Hang on, Jane.
This is stunning. The detail in this and the depth of shading in the flowers.
Just insanely beautiful.
It's
and how
gorgeous.
gorgeously do they go? Yes, please.
You could have really good fun with this, cutting out borders and adding them in.
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And thrice. Yes. Do you know what else that would work with? You know, we did the... what did we make yesterday? What did I make? Nesting pouch.
Nesting pouches, yes.
Now, I have got it in just the blue and cream.
That really gives like a willow pattern feel to it, doesn't it?
Yes. And I also have the fans in the same.
Beautiful.
How delicate is that?
Beautiful.
The blue is really striking, and then you get this ivory one, and it's like, oh, how delicate and feminine. Love it.
And the lovely thing about Lisa's fabrics, the background is never flat.
Never.
There's a shading to it. You can't really see it on the cream, and then on the blue it's very subtle as well. But it's got a lovely like
mottling almost.
Mottling, yeah.
But it's just enough to give interest.
Yeah, so it adds texture to it.
Come on then, Jane. What else have we got?
We've got some beautiful Moda. That's the threads that bind. It's really pretty. And again, you could add that in central panels within the block, large border, make your quilt bigger. It would look stunning.
So we've had sort of some chintzy things. We've had striking Japanesey styles. We've had classics with your William Morris. What about, you read my mind, Jane McJameson.
We have got these beautiful Tim Holtz, and these, you know, dare I say it, have got a more masculine feel to them, but they work beautifully with these neutrals. Now,
you might think that I've spilt my tea on it. This is the look of Tim Holtz. His is that distressed look.
Yes.
Because even I did a double take and went, oh gosh, if we But no, that absolutely is the look. And you've got this beautiful. These are digitally printed. They should command a higher price.
Yes.
The substrate, so the base cloth that you have for these, have to be of a really seriously high quality, because otherwise you're not going to get that
It's a really tightly woven
in.
base cloth, and it's beautiful.
And that's so that they can screen print. So this is your sewing instructions, which I love. I want Karen to make lots of things out of that. And then we've got the stars. And again, this is one that SJ loves because it's just plain, simple.
Nice and neutral, yeah. She loves a star.
She does love a star. Oh, and Karen, she opened her present today and she's like, that's exactly what I need.
Oh, that's exciting. Beautiful. I haven't seen what she's had from Karen.
She had a wedding planner.
Oh, amazing.
She's made her a wedding planner in just the colours that SJ loves.
Oh, that's super. Karen, it's like you've had a bug in the office because you've made everybody something that they all adore.
You know when people just get you?
Yeah.
And you go, oh yeah, you are our tribe.
Yes.
And even though we've never met her in the flesh. Oh no, have you?
I have,
yes.
I've had the privilege of meeting Karen. She is lovely, as we knew she would be.
That's how we feel with a lot of our viewers.
Yes.
Is it, you know, your friends, even though we've never met. It's a very strange concept.
It is.
To the extent that, I have to tell you, I got spotted in Trago by one of our viewers, and because there's that feeling of just knowing each other.
Yes.
She never said what her name was, and I completely forgot to ask because I had a small child that had some sugar, and I was trying to, you know, because she wants everything, everything there. Can I have 18 bath bombs, Mummy? No. So it was not. It was So if that was you, hello and apologies because I completely forgot to. But it's one of those things.
You just fall into a conversation, don't you? Yeah. Because they know you.
Yeah.
Because but of course we don't see anybody.
Could someone please spot me on a day where I have makeup on and I don't have like hat hair or something? Crazy Cornish. It's like Monica and Friends, you know, when she goes to, is it Jamaica or somewhere?
The humidity.
Like, yeah. That's what Cornwall does to my hair. And I'm like, I just have to embrace the craziness. And I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to be the wild woman of Cornwall.
This one's lovely. This is instructions, and it's like,
oh yeah, if you have anyone
that makes model making,
isn't that great?
Or enjoys flying, if they fly. can make a lovely little, like, I was going to say clutch bag then, but like wallet, but large wallet for like holding a tablet in or like instructions.
Do you know what I'm going to do? You've read my mind. So Freddie said to me the other day, he's got some Meccano sets and things like that.
Yeah.
And what I might do is some clear pockets with zips, like as an organiser for him, because he said, Mummy, I don't trust myself to, like Lego is fine with, but Meccano is like the next step up for him.
Yes.
And he just said, I don't trust myself, and my dad's got an aeroplane kit for him.
Oh, how lovely.
He said, I don't trust myself to do it on my own.
But he'll have help with that, and that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Make him a little
a little folder almost, yeah, which he could fold out and have all of his bits and bobs in.
Yes.
And my next door neighbour, lovely Tony, he makes models. He's part of a model club and everything.
Yeah.
Now,
my dad used to do scale modelling, and it's, you know, it's as mindful as sewing, you know, because you get totally absorbed in it. Absolutely. These look lovely with this, don't they?
I know when Tony's been model making, because I go out to, we've got a communal bit full of our recycling, and I can smell when he's put, you know, anything that's had any of the paint on.
Yes.
Or, you know, if he's put some cardboard down or anything that is then painted on. It's like, yep, Tony's been painting. That's your multiplications table. Maybe you're making a book bag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freddie loves his maths. He gets so upset when he's got to do English, which is ridiculous because he reads so well.
Yeah.
I've reached that stage where he wants to do bedtime story. Like, I'm not sure about this. This is where I read to you.
Yeah.
How do I feel about this?
It's all grown up. Oh.
We can fit short and stout, tall and slim, extra large men. Wow.
In any style.
I'm assuming that is in a...
It's men's fine dress shirt.
No, there we go. That's what we're fitting. There we go. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Regular sizes. Regarding extra sizes, they can do that as well. Fabulous.
If you're a dressmaker, you can make a lovely men's shirt with that, couldn't you?
Do you know what else you could do? You know those covers for hangers?
Yes.
You could do those, or, you know, a zip up for a suit, zip up thingy for a suit.
Yeah, cover. Yeah, suit cover.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
Jane, is that all the ones that we've pulled? No, there's one more shelf of stuff what we pulled.
There's some really lovely.
Too long because
we might go on forever with my demo. We've got some lovely classic strawberry thief. Look at that in that beautiful rust background, but it pulls out all those neutrals in there.
Yep. And actually, suddenly this one as well just comes in.
I think really that's the latte, which is one of our newer ones.
It's strange because it's got a pinky undertone.
Yeah, it's got a pinky tone to it. So as soon as you put it against there, all these pinks lift out, which is amazing. I love the way colours work like that.
I pulled this because of these. I was like, oh yes, that would go with the beds.
Yeah, which
but
it
actually,
does.
Because I found it out and went, ooh, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
The Lisa Chandler project panel.
This is lovely. This comes in 60 centimetre increments, doesn't it? Because it's got a pattern repeat, so it goes from there to there.
But again...
And again, you can have fun fussy cutting this, adding borders to it. Lovely.
Gorgeous.
Really fun.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
And this one, we love this one. This is a Philip Jacobs. This is his own, isn't it? This is,
it ticks my Fibonacci box, this one.
Yeah. Treasure Island, Nautilus shells.
I was geeking out with mathematical patterns with a dog walker at Lanhydrock the other day. You know, and I was just sitting there having my tea, and there weren't very many spaces because everybody had, you know, there was a break in the weather, so everyone had gone out walking. Yes. And it turned out he was a maths teacher, so we were just talking about all things mathsy and admiring dogs at the same time while his wife went in for a cup of tea. And and it did make me think of this fabric.
We've got
it's been on my mind.
I've got a friend that I've met through quilting. She's a teacher, and she was a maths teacher in her previous life, and she designs quilts. All her quilts, and she's a modern quilter, all her quilts are based around the Fibonacci scale, and they're just amazing.
Just beautiful.
Eleanor Marsden, if anybody wants to have a look at her.
Oh yes. What if, Jane, you just had that as a binding?
It'd be stunning, wouldn't it? It's such fun fabric, and you can just,
and you wouldn't know that was
shells. No. And again, if you were doing your English paper piecing, you can have real good fun.
You've got a lot in there, haven't you?
Fussy cutting that.
Right, let's talk versatility. So we've had Lisa Chandler, we've had William Morris, we've had Tim Holtz, and now we're going for something completely different. Let me move
this is a beautiful. Again, it's Ruby Star, and it's one of the canvas prints, isn't it?
Which is just pretty, is that?
Pretty.
I made one of the round-handled bags with this.
Yes.
It's just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I nearly gave it to someone and then went, no.
You can't part with it.
No, that is mine. I love that. Isn't it gorgeous?
Absolutely stunning.
So they are our choices for you today if you are topping up. You like that? Morning, Sarah. Morning, Pam. Morning, Karina. Lisa, Katrina. Karina. We think you can actually see us without makeup through the screen. I don't mind. Be in your PJs, be in whatever, I don't mind.
No, we're not fussy. Are we? We're not. We don't have expectations.
No.
We only wear this face for screen. We don't look like this every day.
So that you don't scream at us. Yeah. Lisa Crangle says she's a clever lady, that Lisa Chandler. She sure is. She's
absolutely fabulous.
Morning, Vivian. Morning, Christine. And morning, Sue. And morning, Leslie. Sorry, she's late. Blasted internet is playing up again.
Oh, dear.
Jenny says vanilla is her go-to background colour.
Yeah, some people... tend to edge towards ivory because I'm not always keen on the starkness of white.
I think you've got to have the right fabric for white. Yeah.
But white sometimes with primary colours just makes them glow. Love it.
Claire's relaxing. She's got the kids finally back at school with a very 5-year-old grumpy one.
Oh dear. Did he not want to go back, Claire? I thought he was enjoying school. Yeah, it's a bit different though, isn't it, when you've got all these toys that you've had for Christmas to play with.
I know, right? Talk us through, Jane.
Well, this is lovely, and I love this. It's all neutrals.
Yeah.
But as I was making it, I was like, this would look rather nice in rainbow colours.
Basically, what you're saying is that you didn't want to make two of the same.
Well, no. And
so you went, can I do another one in a rainbow one, please, Natasha? And
so we've gone with a...
Oh, yeah.
We've got a nice bundle of 8 fat quarters in rainbow.
Nice.
Now, if you've had the subscription through the whole time, you're going to have all of these colours anyway in your stash. But we have put together this bundle. Gemma's put it together.
Because you might have used them. Shock horror. If any of you have actually used your subscription.
Use your fabric.
Yeah.
You know. It was so funny. I was doing a project the other day and I was looking for a colour to go with it. And I was like, I've got drawers of fabric, literally, chest of drawers that you open the drawer and all the fat quarters are lined up. Could I find the fabric I needed? And Glenn was like, you've got loads of fabric, you must have what you need there.
It's like having the right shoes, Jane. Sometimes you just do not have the correct shoes and we need more.
And saying, I've got nothing to wear.
Nothing!
When your wardrobe is like crammed.
Stuffed full. Yeah, that's the one. So we have that as a bundle as well as, obviously, what else do they need to add in to make that quilt behind, Jane?
The quilt behind will do, the bundle of 8 fat quarters that you get in your subscription will do up to here.
Right, so if you want the heart...
So because I went and did the heart, well, I'll actually do that part. There's a thread there. You know, you think you tied all your ends in. There's always one. It will do this part as well, but you need additional for these borders and your binding. So I've used ivory and beige for the binding. So we've 1/2 metre of each. And add that to your bundle and that will do your quilt. Obviously you'll need your backing and your wadding additional to that. Backing fabric, I'd get 3 metres. You'll have more than enough. You could do it with 2.5, but you'd have to piece it a little bit on the back. So obviously with 3 metres you'll still have to join it because it's slightly wider than width of fabric. So yeah, there you go. That's the beige. The beige, that's the neutral, calms, cooling version. I don't like the word beige. It's got a connotation, hasn't it, beige?
Because I've just had Gemma. There's been a slight incident with Mabel.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oops. Similar to the incident Izzy had yesterday.
We had a phone call from Izzy. We'd just come off air. And we had a phone call from Izzy going, I'm just walking Mabel. She loves walking Mabel. She got really upset over the holidays where she didn't have Mabel to walk. Just walking Mabel. I don't think something's agreed with her. I forgot to bring any bags with me. And now she's trailing it. So today I did make sure she had lots of bags.
Oh, bless. So we've got a few techniques in here, some that we've visited before. I've just realised something as I'm looking at this quilt. I've forgotten something. Never mind. I can filch some off the pile. We have got. That's just thrown me now because I just had to realise. I thought I got my prep really sorted. So we're going to do it in rainbow colours, and because I'm very slightly OCD, it's never been diagnosed, but I feel I'm there on the scale somewhere. I've gone out from red through. Now, in my pattern, it's done for the neutral, and I've changed some things around, but we'll go through it. So if you like the rainbow, you can follow the demonstration and you'll see how it looks. Once I realised that I've forgotten the part, we'll work that one out when we get there.
It'll all be fine.
It'll all be fine.
I can just hear mass giggling.
Yes.
I don't know what quite has happened. I can guess.
So we're going to do this centre block here. If we can get this centre block here is an Ohio star.
Right.
And it's done with squares and quarter square triangles, but because it's put on point, it then looks like a sawtooth star, which is what we've gone for here. But because we've got big triangles, I've added little triangles into it, so that's a pieced triangle that is then joined together. So it's all techniques that we've done before,
okay,
apart from this border here. Now I've done a mitered border, and I'm going to go through that with you today. Just because it gives you a little bit of an extra option, and it gives quite a nice finish to it. But you could do edge to edge borders if you didn't feel like it. But I go through it in the pattern, it goes through it quite carefully. So let's do quarter square triangles. Now, as I said, I'm going through in rainbow colours. So I've gone red for my centre square, and then I'm going to have yellow on the outside, and as I make this you'll see how it develops, and then orange as the star, and I've kept black as my background colour.
That could have been white though, couldn't it? You know, like
it could be white,
earlier,
yeah.
It could have been
you can go white or black would work wonderfully with it. And I think what I might do, I'm just trying to think about this.
Well.
Yeah, we've got it's called Echo Star.
Nice.
So the pattern for this is done. I think it just needs we've just got to proofread it. With the break and everything else, we've lost a few days, so things haven't quite.
I've lost the plot, not a few days.
We haven't quite got it as we would have liked to. Now, what I could do with actually. Right, we'll work this out. What would you like, Jane? I'm thinking out loud here. What I think I might do. Yeah, I'll leave it as it is, and I'll just do something else. I haven't brought the fabric with me for this edge here.
Well, can I go and get that for you?
Well, I'm just thinking, because I've worked it out in my head how it's going to be, I'm thinking I might just do it in black.
Okay. Which
will make it look quite dramatic. Okay, ooh, right, drama. So quarter square triangles. Quarter square triangles, the rule for quarter square triangles, whatever size finished square you want to end up with, you add 1 1/4 inches to it. So I want 3 inches finished, so my squares are 4 1/4. It's all math. I don't know how it works. It's magic, but it's always 1 1/4 inches, whatever size you want it to be finished with. So you make half square triangles to start with. So I have got, because I want my star in orange, I've got 2 squares of orange, and then I've got 1 of yellow and 1 of my background colour. In the pattern, everything is done with the neutral shades. Everything is listed. I've done A, B, C and D fabric letters, but in brackets I have put which colour neutral I've used for the one behind me. So it should be fairly easy to follow. So on your lighter colour square, just mark the diagonal from corner to corner and then place your 2 squares together, and we're going to sew 1/4 inch either side of the line. We do a lot of half square triangles and things like that in here, so they're all techniques that we've done before. So I'll try not to sort of assume that you know, but many of you do already.
Well, we always have new people, don't we?
Yes, and we're always aware that there are people that have never made a quilt before. And this quilt, if you take your time and just go through it, follow it methodically, it's quite a straightforward one. Once you've got the basic techniques of half square triangles and quarter square triangles, and there's some flying geese in here as well.
Just thrown in for extra measure.
You know, adding in a bit. So once you've got your two squares done, we're going to cut those along that marked line. Cut them in half. And then we're going to press them. Now I'm going to press towards the background colour on this one and then towards the orange on this one. And I always say that if you have the colour that you want the seam to go under facing upwards, when you press it, the seam will naturally fall underneath. I don't think the iron's plugged in.
Oh, have I not turned the iron on?
That's it, it's on now. It's okay.
Soz, Jane.
No, that was me. I should have checked it. Yeah, it's on now. So we just press that away. We take care when we're pressing because obviously it's now a biased edge. So when I'm pressing, I literally am pressing it down. I don't iron it. Don't run my iron like this. I just open it out and press that to give it a nice... Why is it not coming on?
Is it plugged in, Jane?
It is plugged in. And the light's on. Maybe I just haven't given it time to heat up.
Has it gone bump completely now?
I'm just wondering if it has. The light's on.
Nobody's home.
But nobody's home.
Do you want to press? Sometimes I think the light's on, but then when I actually press it in, it's actually not.
Switch it off, switch it on again, like they say in All the Best. We can work with finger pressing anyway, even if it's... I might not have given it time. So you've now got...
Sorry, I'm so noisy in the corner.
You've got two lots of each colourway of your half square triangles. So you're going to now place these together. I should have pressed that to the orange. And you're going to place them right sides together and you're going to put the orange on top of your background colour and then your yellow on top of your orange. It all makes sense. Lining up the seams, and they should nest together if you've pressed them all to your background colour.
Gorgeous.
And then you're going to mark a diagonal line on there in the opposite to the seam line. So the opposite diagonal to the seam line. So corner to corner, running across that seam line. Now when I mark a diagonal line, I always like to go from the middle out to the corner, just so that I don't drag the fabric and stretch it. I would strongly recommend you prepare your fabric before you start cutting it with your best press, your flatter, your spray starch, whatever you use.
We are running out of flatter.
I was going to say,
we can't get any more at that price. Just no way.
And then we're going to sew 1/4 inch either side of that marked line. And you can always chain piece when you're doing this. So, you know, go down one side on all of the triangles that you need to do. You'll probably pin yours to make sure that they don't move around while you're doing it.
You chain piecing there, Jane?
I'm chain piecing away. So I've gone down one side, I haven't snipped the threads, and then I'm just turned it around and I'm going down the other side. So then we cut these in half along that marked line. I'm just going to cut those threads. And then we press them open, and you can do, no, this iron's not, it's died, it is no more.
Oh no, Jane! You see, I'm now really torn. Because I love that iron.
Yes, it's been...
But we've only had it a year or so.
Yeah.
No, hang on, did we have it at the old studio?
No, I don't think we did. I think the one that's in my workroom came with us across.
Oh yeah.
Had a bit of a hissy fit the one day, and then we got this one because it's purports to be an industrial one.
Well, but not for long.
We can do the twiddle in the middle with this.
Ooh.
If I can just find
Go
the
on.
unpicker. Let's use the slice one. So,
do you know what?
Twiddle in the middle.
I actually found, if you've got that slice one, we didn't have very many in stock anyway, but if
No.
you are one of the people that got it, what I found is it's great for opening, you know when you get sent a box and it's all got tape up?
Yes.
Brilliant for that.
Absolutely amazing.
Just brilliant for that.
So I'm unpicking on my triangle where I sewed across the second way. I'm unpicking those few stitches up to that line. And I'm making it look really difficult. It's not difficult.
I love a demo that we do that.
And then on the other side as well. So both sides, where you've cut it, there's a few stitches, one or two, sometimes not even any. That side and that side. When you open your triangle out then, one side will fall down and the other side will press up, which gives you a nice flat seam. It looks lovely on the back, but you're not going to see that. But actually what happens is that it makes it easier for quilting, particularly if you're quilting in the ditch, because you've got less bulk in that middle bit and it does lie flatter. So yeah, it's quite a nice, gives you quite a nice effect.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful.
So just press it. You can do it with your fingers. You can finger press it and just press the seam one way and one the other way.
Jane. I'm busily looking at everyone's orders going, oh yes, that'll look lovely.
Yes.
Because we've got the fabrics there to hand and I'm going, yeah, no, you made a beautiful choice. That's lovely.
really nice.
Yes, yes. Oh, Stephanie, beautiful. Yeah. All good.
So you've now got 4 quarter square triangles. So you've got your middle red square, and I've gone with black for the background colour. On the neutral one, I'm pretty certain it's ivory, but I could be lying, it might be cream. It's all listed.
Oh, I want to sing a do 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 do. Is that Paul McCartney?
Yes, ebony and ivory.
Yeah. Oh wow, look at this. Again, what a completely different make.
Yes. So we're now going to sew that together in rows. We're going to sew the 2 squares to that quarter square triangle. Now we'll make sure that the triangle that we're going to have against our middle square is facing the bottom.
Right.
And then on the middle row, it needs to be facing the sides in towards the square. And then again, the bottom, the third row is the same as the top row. So you can make them identical.
Yeah.
And then just turn it round.
Okay.
So I'm quickly going to sew these on. I'm going to chain piece this just for quickness, because we have got quite a bit to get through.
It's all going on out there, Jane.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Can you hear it? Oh dear. That puppy has caused absolute carnage. So she has her little puppy pen, doesn't she, away from everything. And yeah, She has created absolute. But do you know what? She's so good. She goes everywhere with me, that puppy.
Yes,
She's never
very
messy in the car.
She's very calm and laid back. She doesn't.
Yeah.
She comes in the morning and she just toddles up to you. She's no jumping up, no rushing around.
No, she's allowed to say hello to everyone when she comes in.
Yeah.
And then she's straight in her puppy pen.
Yeah.
And then she gets walked throughout the day.
There's no fuss or bother with her. She just comes in and does what she needs to, gently, calmly.
Bit of chain stitching. I find this quite satisfying. Nice bit of chain stitching.
Yes, there is something about chain stitching that just it's quite, and you feel like you're being economical with your thread as well.
Which help? Do you know what? It's just those little things that do help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Karen's in the middle of tidying her workroom and she's just found a full bag of Tilda. She says, result.
Nice.
That's the sort of tidying. Or when you find a coat you haven't worn for ages, or a bag that you haven't used for ages, and you find a fiver in the pocket. And you're
yeah, that's
yep,
nice.
That's good.
It's a little...
Oh, Pam says, I hope you can't see me through the screen. COVID is not a good look for me. I think it's a good look for anyone. Morning, Debbie.
It's
Karen also says, well, we're meant to use the subscription fabrics. No, you can just,
You can just, enjoy the bundle and just stroke them.
Morning, Rona. How are you? Oh. Jane.
So I have left those still joined together. Look, you can see they're like flags.
Oh.
I've pressed
you do a clever
the seams into the middle.
Hang on. I'm going to change my camera. There we go.
Okay. Seams into the middle that row.
Yep.
Seams out towards the corner square. And that means that when I start to sew these rows together, I can nestle the seams. So that seam will lock in a way to that one, and vice versa in this corner here. There we go. And then we can sew that up. Again, if you feel happier pinning it, you can certainly pin it.
That machine is quiet, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? It's lovely.
It really is. I've got my other version of that one in my sewing room, which is because I just don't want it. I don't want to, disturb.
No, it's just disturb the children or the neighbours. I mean, when you've got young children that go to bed quite early, and you can carry on working, but you don't want to be disturbing them either, do you?
No, I don't want to disturb anyone, to be fair.
No.
Jane, I'm trying to find that iron again. Sorry, everyone, I'm going to be a little bit quiet. I'm just trying to find it. Where's it gone?
There we go. So that's your sawtooth star. You'll press that probably in towards the middle.
Right.
Just because it just tends to lie flatter. But I'm a great believer in sort of listening to the fabric. It does tend to tell you which way it wants to go. So that's your middle square. So now we're going to put that on point, and we're going to add triangles to the side. And that's when it starts to look like a sawtooth star with what we call an economy square, or a square within a square in the middle. But you can see by doing it as a sawtooth Ohio star, it's much easier with the 4/4 square triangles. It works quickly. It makes it quite nice. So now then. I think, have I got any black that I can shop up? I don't think I have.
Where is your prep somewhere nearby? We can take them away from Slight dog mode.
I'm just thinking.
Uh-oh.
What I could do is I could nick a square from the other. I've got my corner squares. So what I'll do is I'll trim them down and then we'll just be able to show you one side of it. I probably won't get to make up the whole thing anyway because it'll take forever.
Okay. Where did these come from? Just
these are the corners. So I need to just trim these down. And I'm praying that I've remembered the right size. Otherwise the triangle is going to be too small. All the measurements and everything are in the instructions.
Which Jane does not have to hand.
I do not have to hand. So we've got 2 squares there, and I'm going to cut those into triangles by cutting from corner to corner across the diagonal. So I then have 4 half square triangles, which I am then going to sew to the top and the bottom of the block, and then each side. My prep's just fallen off.
Oh, Jane, what's happening, Jane? Have you found it?
Yeah, it's all right. Fortunately, I have been quite organised and clipped it together in bits, so it shouldn't be too long.
I'm going to clear out under there, you know.
So I'm going to sew a triangle to the top there and to the bottom on this side. Now, obviously, I want to be sure that my triangle is in the middle of my square, my block. So what I will do is I will just fold the triangle in half. If it was patterned, I would be folding this one right sides together. Wrong sides together, sorry. And I'm going to fold my block in half, right sides together. Just making sure that these seams here are lined up so I know that that centre triangle there is in the middle. And then I've got, in effect, 2 notches then that I line up.
Right.
And then I will pin these. Something else I didn't bring with me was my pins. Because we were having such a lovely time that we didn't think about. There wasn't actually a show today. Oops. Just pin that, just to hold it while I sew across there. You can put extra pins in the corners just so it doesn't move. Across there and across there.
Jane, it's very quiet.
It is very quiet, isn't it now?
No.
Is there anybody out there that needs to ask anything?
Hang on, let me find it. Oh, morning, Nikki. Right, I've gone for it. I've ordered a new iron, Jane.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Is it definitely plugged in?
It's definitely plugged in. And the extension must be switched on because
we have
one
lights,
got the machine and we've got lights and everything working. So, and the light's on the actual base of it. The base is warm, but the iron isn't.
Oh.
You'll come across and you'll go, oh, it's because this isn't switched on.
Oh, hang on. Nikki's trying to sew her quilt. And Maverick, a bull mastiff Rottweiler, has decided to lie under the table. So whilst he is positioning himself, he has just put his derriere on her foot pedal. Oops. There is nothing more. It just makes you jump, doesn't it?
It does. It's scary, particularly if your fingers are quite close to you.
Yeah, and especially Nikki's got one of these machines.
Oh gosh,
so she's got a mini beast. So that is, Arthur, do you remember Studio Dog Arthur?
I do, I remember Arthur.
Always by my side, everywhere I went. I think Mabel might be another Arthur.
Yes, she has a similar temperament, doesn't she?
She really does. Because Eric, my Great Dane, he woke up every day and was like, right, human, what can you do for me? And that was his mindset.
Yes.
Whereas Arthur woke up every day and was like, right, human, what can I do for you?
Yes.
And it was that difference in mindset. Yeah. Completely. Oh, I love that we're still going to try the iron.
Well, it helps with. There's the weight
of the
heavy,
iron, isn't it? That one.
It gives it helps with the. It's not giving me the crisp edge that we love, but it's getting there. So we've sewn to the top and the bottom of the block. So now we're going to add the triangles in the same way
Vicky has a maths
to each
based
side.
question.
Yes.
She says, is there a rule for how the size of the triangles should be compared to the block you've just made?
No, there's not a rule for that.
I don't know if you mean in terms of the sizes.
Yeah, you work out what size square you want finished. Well, it works against the size of your block, and it's something to do with pi. And I know the formula, but it's just gone phew out of my head.
I thought pi was for. Oh, I'm really confused now.
Yeah, and it's something like. Oh my God, I'm not even going to say it's something like because I'll get it wrong.
Something like. Not sure. I thought pi was more circular.
If my mum has got her right from the start book handy, she will be able to tell you what the
Kate,
what the formula is for setting in triangles.
do we need to stock this book, Jane?
I don't know if it still is in stock actually.
Oh no.
It might be, but it was through Traplet, and Traplet stopped trading, didn't they? They were the magazine people.
I don't know. There seems to be quite a few of those magazines are just not.
Yeah,
not really.
Molly Makes has done its final issue.
That's been the latest one.
Yeah.
So Jane and I both used to work for Immediate Media. That was how we met, wasn't it?
Yes.
We both used to work for Immediate Media, which was, is the Molly Makes. Well, that was part of the Immediate Media branding, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was Molly Makes. It's a funny old world out there right now.
Yeah, it's changing. People's shopping habits are changing, aren't they?
You think how things have changed? Like, I thought about this when the Queen passed. I thought, the change that she has seen must be unrecognisable.
Well, yeah.
Just the way that the world has been.
Well, Inga and I were talking about it because Inga and I are of a similar age, and we were just saying, even in our lifetimes,
Yeah.
the change in technology.
Well, yes. So I mean,
when we were children, there was only 3 channels on the television.
Yeah. And computers. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a Commodore 64.
Yeah.
And you used to have to put tapes in, and my dad made us a computer game.
Yeah.
He coded a computer game.
Amazing. Yeah, and computer studies when we were at school was a completely different option. It was an option to choose, like home economics or art or woodwork. It wasn't a subject, and of course I wanted to do art and home economics, and there was no option for me to do computer studies. So you can see now how that has now become
beautiful,
on point with the background.
Perfect.
So now this
That's
is
really striking, isn't it?
It is actually. It's rather.
I can see. Like Jane will never say this, but I can see that you're quite pleased with yourself.
Yeah, smug. Right. So, mitered borders. Right. I have used fat quarters, as you know, for this. It's a bundle. So I have gone from width of fat quarter. Now, when I'm cutting a fat quarter, when I say width of fat quarter, you'll have one salvage edge, and then your cut edge. So it's from the salvage to the cut edge, not from the cut edge to the cut edge, because that's slightly narrower than that one. You get an extra inch.
Oh, it's all about that
Very
extra
important.
inch. We are all about the extra inch here.
So I have cut 4 strips.
Yep.
Of 3 colours.
Yep.
Sewn them together in strip sets. So I've got 4 strip sets, the same.
Excellent.
On the width of the fat quarter, so they're all the same, identical. I am just going to trim these off. Now, all I'm doing is I'm levelling that end, and simply literally trimming off the minimum I need to trim off just to make it level. and I've lined my horizontal line on my ruler. I've lined that up with a seam line rather than the edge, because it can be a bit wobbly. So lined it up with the seam line and just trimmed off literally a smidge just to make it straight. And then on the other end, I am taking off the selvage. And again, there's the dots where it's held onto the loom. So just lining it up with those, just to cut that off, literally, just that edge.
Your mum says that she's sitting comfortably. She's
right.
not going searching for a book.
She's not going to go search for a book. That's fair enough.
Oh, we've got another grandbaby to welcome as well. Hang on.
Sometimes she watches in her sewing room, you see, so she might just be able to turn around and grab the book. But she's obviously sitting cosily by her fire watching us today.
Do you know what? I don't blame her. Oh, Bridget has welcomed her second grandson on the 28th of December. £9.
Lovely.
15 of gorgeousness.
Oh.
Oof. Apparently the midwife said, gosh, you've given birth to a toddler. Do you know what? It's
a bit rude.
I went when I met my my new little nephew, William Walter. I call him Willy Wally. That's not popular.
Can't imagine why.
No, I know. And but he's absolutely gorgeous. And he must have been about 3 months by the time that I actually got down to see him. And I said, "Oh, he's tiny." And Matt said, "Well, that's my brother."
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, no, he's growing really." I said, "How much does he weigh?" And he weighed still at 3 months less than Freddie did when he was born.
Oh my god!
I was like, and that's why he seems small to me.
Yes. But you see, Freddie's tall, isn't he? This is the thing. So you've got that additional weight in the height. I'm just looking for the pen. Now I put this away, and there it is.
Freddie has already. What's he done? He's in my shoes.
Is he really?
And he's stolen my shoes.
That's amazing.
We put our feet together. Now I remember doing this when he was a tiddly toddler, and he always used to want to see where his feet were, and they sort of scrunched up to my, to the instep of my foot or whatever, and he'd go, "Haven't I got big feet, Mummy?" Now he does it, and they are the same size as my feet at the age of 8.
Amazing.
I'm going to stop feeding him.
Is he going to be 9 this month?
He's 9, yeah.
Yeah.
And he says to me, "Mummy, I can't believe I'm going to be 9 this month." He said, "Because I still think I'm 7.
Oh, bless him. Oh. I love that boy so much.
Do you know, everybody does. I mean, he can be typical 8-year-old boy and a bit silly sometimes, but do you know what? He just is. He is my sunshine.
He's lovely.
He's just such a good boy. Right.
For that. So, mitered borders.
Yes.
We are going to now. We've got this border, and you can see it's way wider.
Yes, way wider.
Now, if you're thinking about how you measure this, you want to be sure that you've got the width of the border on each end. So no matter what size your border is, make sure you've got the width plus a ½ inch to give you manoeuvrability either side. I have folded that in half, and again, I've just given it a little finger press, so I've got a little mark there. And obviously now, where my block joins that triangle, that is where I want to line that up.
Yes.
So I will place that.
Oh, Jane, this is good. I like
on the edge of there. Okay.
And this is in your instructions?
Yes, all of this is in the instructions. Brilliant. You're going to take your ruler, your 1/4 inch mark. You're going to line the 1/4 inch mark up with the edge of your block. And you're going to mark on the top of your border strip that 1/4 inch mark. So 1/4 inch in on your strip.
Right.
And you're going to do that on both sides.
Okay.
And lining your strip up, making sure that it's lined up with the edge of your block. So I'm just going to remark that because it moved up, it's just taken it away slightly. If I mark that edge there, you can see the black mark. That's probably better on there. Same on that side. And I am going to sew now from that mark to the next mark. So basically I'm sewing my border on, but I'm starting 1/4 of an inch in and I'm going to finish 1/4 of an inch away from the edge.
Okay. That's all good. Oh, Jane, I like a new technique. Oh, morning Danielle, morning Liz, morning Carol, morning Michelle.
I'm stopping 1/4 an inch before the end.
Okay.
So if I lift this up and away, I don't know if you can see.
It's going to help if I change the angle. There you go.
Just undo that. That is 1/4 an inch. I went over slightly. So that is 1/4 an inch from there and slightly more than 1/4 an inch from that one.
Right.
So you can see that I've got that, it's not attached completely across.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same on each of these borders now. So make sure that's out of the way. Fold this border in half, give it a pinch and line it up right sides together with the centre of your block, which is there.
Exactly that. Elizabeth says, this is when being a perfectionist works. Yes. And yes.
So this time we've still got the edge of the block. We can see that underneath. And we're just going to go 1/4 an inch away from there. But you've also now, you've got your seam here that you can feel underneath.
Right.
So you could use that as your mark. Just mark that there. And then obviously from this side, you can go top and bottom, or you can go round like I'm doing. It doesn't matter because you're not going to be sewing the borders together at this point.
Right.
They're going to be loose.
Okay.
Like so. So we'll just take that and we'll sew that one on.
This is so clever. I like it a lot.
I do like the effect of a mitered border, but sometimes you just don't have the right amount of fabric to do it. Oops. When you have, and it worked well with the fat quarters.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it?
Because I was sort of set the challenge of creating something with the fat quarter bundle.
Do you find that your creativity almost expands when you've got limitations on it?
Sometimes, yeah. At first, I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Some of my best makes is when Gemma's gone through our stock and gone, oh, Natasha, we've got a few of these. Could you just do something with that, please?
Yes. That's what I really admire you, because you're really good at doing that. You did it yesterday. You went, oh, right, we could do this, this and this with that. And I was like, oh, okay, yes. And I'm looking at it thinking, I don't know what you're going to do with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm very good at like seeing patterns within patterns.
But that's where your brain works, and this is why it's important to have a hive mind in a business.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Gemma kicks my butt to do the stuff that I don't really like doing. And she's like, Natasha, can you just, it needs... She's going to kick my butt after the show as well, because I've got a list of stuff I need to do before I head home. This is where she really feels the fact that she's a bit shorter than I am. What are you doing, Jane?
I am marking it again, doing exactly the same thing, 1/4 of an inch in,
top, bottom,
1/4 of an inch
whichever.
from the end, yeah. So each time we're just leaving that corner basically 1/4 of an inch unsewn. And it will become all clear absolutely why we're doing that in a moment.
I can't wait. I haven't seen this. I like this. I like this a lot. I was just wondering, shall I find... Was it the new handle that you were looking at going, what's she going to do?
Yes.
Shall I give everyone a little sneak peek?
Oh, yes. It's rather glamorous, isn't it?
Well, do you know what happened?
It was really funny when Gemma explained what the thinking was behind this handle, because I was like, oh, okay. I have to explain that I'm not a particularly girly girl. I like a bit of sparkle and everything, but I'm not a girly girl. So I tend to have 2 handbags, maybe. Just like, I just can't, you know,
I have lots of handbag chains. Doesn't mean that I actually use them all.
Function rather than form is my thing with handbags. And shoes are a different matter.
Yeah.
So Gemma was explaining the thinking behind this, and I was like, oh, right, yeah, that's really clever.
And you had a little light bulb moment, didn't you?
The thing is, if I did it, I'd probably break myself or the bag, because my bags are filled to capacity, you know. They've got everything but the kitchen sink in them. So again, 1/4 inch from the edge of the block inside, and this time I've got 2 seams to go against, so I can put the mark on there.
Can't get out of the packet, Jane. Can't do anything. I'd love to show you all, but
there's loads of rustling going on in the corner.
I know. Sorry about that. Soz.
Now, when you're doing these borders, you might find it best to use a matching thread with your border fabric.
It's got protective stuff on it all over the place. That's why, Jane.
Well, that's good, because that means it's going to stay nice and lovely when it's... Oh yeah, with that.
I'm just going to leave that there for a moment whilst Jane sews.
Beautiful handle.
Karen says 2 handbags. What is this concept? It's not for you,
Karen is
it's
like...
not for you. This, however, is for you.
Because look at this. This has got like rhinestones in it along there.
And so you put your hand through that.
You put your hand through there, you see. So you've got a bracelet while you hold your bag. And as I said to Gemma, if I used my bags, it would break my wrist because my bags are full to capacity. But it's just lovely. With this blue fabric, that is going to make an absolutely stunning bag.
So if I can get that worked out tomorrow, then that will be next week's show.
Amazing.
And then also next week we will be going through the 12 days of Christmas. So if you didn't buy your 12 days of Christmas, there will be like little kits that you can. And if you did buy your 12 days of Christmas and you're going, well, how the heck do I make this? I need a video. Then that's okay too.
Yeah. Right. So now you've got a block with borders around it, but they're not sewn together in the corners. Okay. So 1/4 inch away either side. So basically you've got a 1/4 inch square in the corner there. Okay. So now we're going to fold our block in half across the diagonal. And you do this in each corner. You're going to fold it across in the diagonal, lining up your corner, lining up your seams underneath. You'll be able to feel those underneath, and lining up the borders on top of each other.
Right.
Okay.
This is very clever.
And this is where, when you've got your ruler with your 45-degree line on, it comes into its own. So you've got all of that lined up. You may want to pin it in place just to hold everything together. So you take your 45-degree line, which is there, you run it along the top of your strip. So the 45-degree line runs across there, and the edge of your ruler sits on the fold of your fabric. You can see that.
Oh, this is very clever.
Takes a little bit of manipulation just to get it lined up straight. Once you're happy with it where it is, take your time with it. You're going to mark along the edge of your ruler with your marker pen. and you are going to sew on that line. Now I would recommend before you take it to the machine that you pin your borders together, just so they are lined up, because they do have a habit of moving. So just sewing on that line now, you might want to just push that seam out of the way, and basically you're going to start where you finished on the edge of your border.
Okay. Well, this is good.
So you've sewn on that line. You're then going to place the 1/4 inch mark on that sewn line. So your 1/4 inch mark's there, past that sewn line, and you're going to trim 1/4 inch away. So you're trimming that bit off there. This is where I open it out and it hasn't worked. So when you open it out, take your pins out. Take all your pins out, go overhead.
I just wanted to check you had your ta-da moment sorted, Jane.
It's not quite lined up as it could be, but there you go.
Looks pretty good to me.
And what I recommend is that you do is that you take your seam, and this is the only time really I ever do this, and press your seam open, because it just lies flatter.
Okay.
And you'll do that in each corner. So you just fold your block over. We'll do two corners for now, so then we can at least get, when we put the next border on, you'll be able to see everything. Line them up, and as I say, it's probably a good idea to just pop pins in just to hold the, and I'm running the pin along the seam line so that I know that they're lined up. Making sure that it's, just be careful as you, because you're on a biased edge, so try not to stretch it. You take your 45-degree line on your ruler there, line the edge of your ruler up with your block, line your 45-degree line up with the top strip, like so, and mark along the edge. Fold that back, and you can see that line really starts where our seam line finished. You probably can't really see it very well there, but my seam line finishes there, and that's where my line starts. So we're just going to sew that on that line.
This is all very clever. I like this, Jane. I like it a lot.
I think it's a nice effect on your borders as well. So 1/4 inch away from that sewn line, just to trim that end piece off. Open your border out, press your seams open. You can, of course, pin it all and check it before you actually sew it if you're worried about your borderline edges not meeting up. And you can see then how that gives a nice effect there.
Oh, wow. Oh, Jane.
So you would do that on all 4 corners.
Yeah.
I'm just going to concentrate on this top half. So your next border then is your larger triangles with the triangles within it. All done with half square triangles.
Okay.
All the instructions are there to on how to make your half square triangles. We did it in the first part when we were doing the quarter squares. So I've chosen the purples for the large triangles. So I've marked my line 1/4 inch. No, I haven't marked a line 1/4 inch. I've marked a line from corner to corner across the diagonal. I'm going to sew 1/4 inch either side of that line.
Okay.
And you've got 12 squares that you need to make into half square triangles. So you really can chain piece at this point. Just going down the one side of all the triangles turning it round and then sewing down the other side, making a long string of half square triangles. You're then going to cut along the drawn line, cutting that in half essentially, and then you'll press that open.
Oh, hang on.
So cut along that mark line and then press them open, and I'm pressing them towards the darker colour.
Right.
Just because it hides the seam. And then on the lightest, you'll have 12 light coloured squares and 12 dark squares, and then you'll have 12 lighter coloured squares on this one, because I've chosen to have the lighter purple as my main one.
Yeah.
If we look at the main quilt,
oh, yeah,
it's the darker colour. I've gone with the white inside and the darker
Okay.
beige. I think
Yeah.
it's beige on this one. It might be nude. I can't remember. It's in the pattern. So I have had 12 of the darker colour and 12 of the light, and then I've got an additional 12 squares, which I'm just going to cut then in half to make half square triangles. So just placing my ruler across the diagonal, corner to corner, and then just cut those in half. So you'll end up with 24 cut half square triangles. So for the first one, we want one of our half square triangles that is light and dark, and then one of our triangles, and we're going to sew one of the triangles to the top of the square, but making sure that it's opposite colourway.
Right.
So if you have your little triangle at the top on the right hand side, and then you're just going to sew that along the top there. I think I described that a lot easier and clearer in my instructions than I just did then.
I am not commenting in any way, shape, or form. It's fine.
I think I made that sound really complicated now.
It's all good, Jane. It's all good.
Dear, there's no hope. Press that up and away, and then we're going to add another triangle along the bottom so that it's facing, if we can go overhead. So it's facing that way. So we're in effect, we're making another triangle shape.
Mm. Excellent. And away we go.
And that's sewn onto the side like that. So that makes a large triangle shape, like so.
Yep, got that.
We're then going to take two of the half square triangle squares, and we're going to sew those together in pairs, facing the same way as the one in the middle. So just join those together with your 1/4 inch seam. I have to thank Izzy for all the pressing this morning. She was a star. I was just like, Izzy, can you help me?
Need some help?
Can you do some pressing for me? She's like, oh yes, I can cope with pressing things for you. She was a star.
She's a good one.
She is an absolute amazing. So just thinking about how you're pressing, this one I've pressed it towards the triangle.
Yep.
Taking care, because obviously these are biased edges now. So I've pressed that seam of least resistance. So this one I'm going to press it
Seam of least resistance. I like
the
that.
opposite direction. So I'm pressing it towards the darker colour there. It'll be the white on your, if you're doing it with the neutrals. So pressing it that way.
Yeah.
We're then going to add one of our cut triangles. They're still called half square triangles, which can be a bit confusing because that's a half square triangle unit and that's just a half square triangle.
Right.
So it sounds the same. So we're going to sew that one along the bottom, keeping the edges along there the same direction.
We got this.
And I'm going to press that seam. I'm just going to press that one away because again, it's just easier. It likes to lie that way. So now I'm going to join that row onto the triangle. And because I've pressed that seam that way and that one that way, these two here will nestle in nicely against each other, and that'll help me keep my 1/4 inch seam. Now I don't know if you can see, but on the seam line here, where my seam goes across the diagonal there and comes down, there's like a little X shape, and that you want to aim just above that, and that way you won't lose your points of your triangles. And it's always worth just popping a pin in along there just to hold them together as you take them to the machine so they don't slip down.
Oh, fabulous. I don't think that Julie is too much of a handbag person either, because Karen's written 2 handbags. What is this concept? Julie said, 1 too many. It's funny, isn't it? It's like stationery. You're either a stationery person or you're not.
Yeah.
Like,
I love stationery.
Yeah, me and pens all over it.
I have to just make a comment actually. I have got lots of handbags. It's just I tend to use 2.
Yeah, but that's Pareto's law.
Yeah.
The 80-20 law means that 20% of things do 80% of the work.
That's right.
That's all.
So we've created a half square triangle there, which is going to be the point of our larger star in our border. You're going to make 8 of those altogether.
8?
8.
Okay, good.
If I've worked the maths out properly, you've got enough there to make 8. I have worked them out.
I'm looking at
you can't create a quilt behind me without making sure the maths is right.
I'm just looking at the centre block that you've done and just thinking, wouldn't that just make a beautiful cushion?
It would, absolutely stunning like that.
Yeah.
So now we're going to create the other half, the other corner, the other half of the square that's going to create this part here. So it's another triangle. Now on here I've used 2 different shades of cream.
Oh, sorry, it's just
it's all right to come back. Yeah,
silly things. Yeah.
So I think one is cream and one is ivory. One's cream, one's ivory. This was because again I was trying to limit myself to the fat quarters and making the most of the fat quarters. But actually it works out quite nice because it gives a shading effect.
Yes.
You've got like dark and light, so it gives it sort of like a dimension to it. Obviously with this one I've just used black and I've used it on all of them. So I have got the square, and I'm just going to cut that in half along the diagonal, corner to corner. Cut that in half. And then the colour that I'm using to make that sort of heart shape here, I've got squares here that I am going to mark on the diagonal. Can't speak, my mouth's not working. Along the diagonal. Too many along the diagonals in this pattern. I'm going to mark that with my fabric marker from corner to corner. And we're going to place that square in the corner of the triangle, lining it up so that that drawn line goes across the tip of the corner.
Okay.
You can see that it runs across there. And we're going to sew now on that line. I'm going to do that on both of those.
Very clever, Jane.
And then we're going to trim 1/4 inch away. So we're cutting that corner of the triangle off. Do that on both of those. Okay. And then we press that back so it reforms the triangle along there. So you've got 2 half square triangles there, like so, and you're going to join those together. Now I suggest that you put this triangle on top of that one, and again it's just because you've got these X marks the spot points on here, so that when you sew your seam you can be sure that you run it just in front of that point there, so that you don't lose the points of your triangle. They are biased edges, so you know, just be careful as you're sewing them that you don't pull them and stretch them.
But it's gonna look fabulous.
I'm just going to pin those together and then we'll just sew that along there.
Ooh. Mighty gorgeous. Morning, Lynn. Morning, Sam.
And we'll do that with the, I've got that one done, that's fine. And again, I would press that on this side because you've got a flat on the dark side and you've got less seam, so it'll sit flatter.
Well, on Friday when the new iron arrives, Jane, you could do that.
Yeah. So press that and that's your square there. So you're going to make, in effect, 8 of these.
Whoa.
And what you'll do then is you'll join those 2 squares together.
Oh.
Okay. Now, what you could do is on half of them, you could press that seam down that way. You can realign the seams if you want to, so that when you put them together, you can nest those seams, and you can be sure that you'll get a nice crisp join.
So the red bit is the start of the heart. So
yes, that's the base of the heart.
Jane's head.
If we go here, you can see it's this part here.
Very clever.
That forms there.
Very clever.
So we'll just join those together.
Oh, you are a clever thing, Jane.
I tries my best.
Yeah, I tries my best. Of course you do's.
I'll just make sure, I'm just going to pin that just to make sure that that seam there stays together.
So the other thing to mention to everyone is the advent calendars. My goodness, you went crazy for the ones that we loaded yesterday. I now need to check and see if we have any left, because they were going super fast yesterday.
That's brilliant. So we end up with that effect.
Nice.
Okay, so we're now going to make the top part of the heart. I'll do this as quickly as I can because I know that we're going on and on and on.
No, that's okay. I'm just got to say, SJ has honoured and kept the 10% off on the advent calendars. We'll hold that off for this week. For those of you that are doing it, we have a handful left. We'll have to see if we can then do any more if those sell out. But for now, that is what we have. So yes, thank you to everyone that has purchased. It's very exciting. So the advent calendars are there for you, and lots and lots and lots of you have taken advantage of that 10% off on that. It makes a difference.
It does. It does.
And that's just really nice because then it gives us an idea of numbers, and I know what I'm buying to, and I can really, it just gives me a chance to get the best things for you. I know exactly what I want, but sourcing them to make sure that they are all the stuff in all the world and it's all good.
Lovely.
It's important.
Right, so we're going to make flying geese, and we're going to use the 5 and 4 squares no waste method, which always flummoxes everybody, even me, because at one point you're like,
oh, I still
this isn't going to make anything. So you've got your large square, which is your main colour, and then your 4 small squares. You place 2 of the squares in opposite corners, I have marked the line along the diagonal from corner to corner. Line the line up. They are going to overlap in the middle. They're meant to. It's your seam allowance. It's always worth popping a pin in along these because they will move when you take them to the machine. And you're going to sew 1/4 inch either side of the line. And again, you're going to have to do this twice.
I was going to say this will do 2 though, won't it? So
yeah.
You're not having to do lots and lots of these.
So you have to do this twice, so you can do it again. You can chain piece it down one side of the 2 and then turn it round and go down the other side of the 2 if you're going to do both sets at the same time. Take your pins out. Then you're going to cut it in half along that marked diagonal line. And you're going to press those smaller triangles away from the larger triangle.
Okay.
And this is where you think, well, this looks like nothing. They look like little hearts, I think.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Yeah.
And we are making little hearts, so, you know, that's okay.
So you take your next square and you place that in the corner there with the diagonal line running between the 2 small triangles. And again, you might be thinking, hang on, this square's too big.
Yeah.
It's not, it's right, it should overlap. It's the seam allowance. So don't fret that you think, oh no, I've made the squares too big. Or I haven't made it right, it's too, this shouldn't be sitting like this. It should.
Okay. Keep the faith is what you're saying.
Yeah. And so now we're going to sew 1/4 inch either side of that marked line. And again, we can chain piece this. You'll have, if you're doing the 2 at the same time, you'll have 4 pieces like this.
She's so clever.
Let's do it in a
I don't
chain.
care how many times I see this, Jane. I still have that moment where I'm like,
I know.
That's
It's
so
like,
clever.
It's amazing.
I'm waiting for the moment.
So just take those pins out. Just cut my chain piecing off. And then we're going to cut those in half again along that marked line. Press the small triangle away.
Oh. No, it keeps not doing it. Sorry, everybody. There you go.
And then you've created 4 flying geese units
Clever.
in one go. With no wastage and quite quickly. So the next thing you're going to do with your flying geese units is you're going to join them together in pairs. So you're going to sew them together like that. So they look like little mountains next to each other. I'll just do this with one for now. Just line them up. You might want to pop a pin in along the seam line just so that you make sure that they are lined up together.
Where are you going now?
Sorry. Just a pin across there, just to hold them as I sew that together.
Oh, it's really delaying switching.
Sticking. There we go.
There we are, finally with you.
I'll
Sorry,
take
everybody.
2 seconds to sew this seam and then we'll go back across to the top.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
There we go. You're going to press those open with the seam to one side.
Yes.
So you've got that effect going on. You're going to have a rectangular piece of your background that you're using for your border that you're going to then attach to the top of there. And again, I would sew it that way so you can see your little X marks the spots so you don't sew off the points of your flying geese. All the measurements are in the pattern, all the piecing. Oh, Gemma, I sent the pattern to her and I said, I'm really sorry, there's about 40 diagrams with this.
Yeah. Ah. I did wonder why she was quiet last night.
We do try to make them as beginner friendly as possible, don't we, with our patterns, which does sometimes mean that they've got lots of steps in them.
Well, and that's why the quilt patterns, you know, we charge a little bit more for that just to cover our printing. We do not hold back on, you know, like you say, on colours, colour printing or anything like that. So
you've got your centre block now, and you're going to, these ones will be mitered beautifully on this corner here and on this corner here. So it will all have beautiful mitered corners, which will look delicious.
It will look delicious, of course it will.
Like so. You will then sew 2 of your paired triangles like that and like that to the sides.
Hang on, where did the other ones suddenly sneak in from?
Talk about getting your prep ready. So you will have 2 sets like that sewn to the sides, and then what you will do is you'll take your other 2 sets and you will sew. Now I made half square triangles again because I was trying to use as much of the fat quarters as I could. So I've got 2 half square triangles, same way as we made the half square triangles here, but they're just bigger. So diagonal line, put the 2 together, sew either side, cut in half, so you get 2 squares of each colour and it makes 4 squares for the corners. But with this one, with the black, I thought, well, I'll just cut the square and I will sew that to either side like so. I'm not going to do that because they're just going on and on and on. So you would sew that. Once you've got these ones on and you've sewn your squares to the either side of the top and bottom piece, it will fit together like that. You then have border pieces. Now I've put cornerstones in on this one. You could choose a colour that you wanted to go in the corner, or you could make all of your borders a little bit longer, whatever you wanted to do. You could make half square triangles if your colours have a different colour in each corner to keep the rainbow effect going.
Oh, that looks fabulous.
But basically you sew your border either side of your flying geese unit. Let me just move this down a little bit.
Oh look!
And that.
How different, honestly. Look at the one behind Jane in the cream, and how, because we were saying that would make a lovely new baby one, weren't we, yesterday, the cream one. But then look how striking it is. Just fantastic.
And you would get that one there. So you could have a coloured, you know, there's nothing to stop you making half square triangles and putting those in the cornerstones, different colour paired.
Yeah.
And having your border going, or just keeping your border black. And we've got the beautiful Cafe rainbow fabrics. I don't know, did we bring it in?
No, we didn't, but I did think you could fussy cut and pop a little rainbow in the corner.
You could, or you could add another border of the rainbow fabric. But this then looks like little floating hearts in those corners. And that, in the rainbow, gives it a real Amish feel. Do you not think? It's really like an Amish quilt.
I just think it's absolutely beautiful and just
and
such
you could
a
have
difference.
Fun quilting in your cornerstones as well if you wanted to. You could use variegated thread and just hand quilt a heart shape in there.
Gorgeous. This is available on the website as a kit, a fabric kit if you're after that. And Jane's pattern is available as well, which is just fantastic.
So from going to like quite a chic Scandi sort of feel on this one, which is beautiful and soft and quiet, to the rainbow one, which is bomb in your face. But again, it just shows you how colour and just a little, you know, a little tweak here and there can make it look completely different.
And that is why we did our subscriptions, so that you have all the colours in all the world.
And you can, you know, this is the pattern. You don't have to do it the same. You can play around with it, excuse me, and have, you know, your own take on it.
I've realised that I'm a little bit if I'm quilting something like this, then I would follow the pattern exactly as is. It's a bit like cooking, isn't it? You do the first recipe, you know, first
do it
round.
by the pattern, and then once you've got the feel of it, you see, you can follow the pattern. You can make it as per the pattern, but once you've made it once, you can look at it and you can think, oh, actually, if I did this and I put that colour in there, I could get a completely different look. So, yeah, it's all good fun.
Jimmy says that's lovely and not too hard to do. Absolutely.
No,
it's
straightforward.
Oh my, that is stunning. And Julia loves the colourway.
Yeah, wonderful.
There you go. If you would like all of those planes as a bundle and you're not a subscriber, then they are available in on the website. The thing is, for the subscribers, we list all the different colours that are in there. We label every single colour so that you can do your own colour swatch. Yeah. Because we've gone through nearly 100 colours now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's lovely.
So well done to everyone that has done that. Vicky just says, gorgeous, Jane. She is, and it is, and it's all good.
Thank you.
We will be back. Well, we'll have Half Meat Heavens tomorrow for you.
Yes.
And then we'll be back live on Monday.
Yeah, keep an eye out for your newsletter on Friday.
Yes, SJ will, as ever.
She'll have conjured up, God, my mouth's not working, conjured up some wonderful deals for you.
Perfect. All perfect.
Yeah.
Right, let's go eat some lunch, Jane.
Yes, that's a
See
good
what I've got
idea.
in that calf. And then eat the rest of our fruit basket.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Annie, for that.
It's lovely.
Lovely people, take care. Jimmy says you could use batik instead of solid colour. You could use anything.
You could do it with patterns, pattern fabric, mixing patterns with planes.
Just
you know,
gorgeous.
you could do all sorts of things with it.
What was I going to say? What was I going to say? Yeah, grab your advent calendars, please, everybody. Because
Yes,
then
well,
we
they're on
need
discounted. Yeah.
to know numbers. I know it sounds really crazy, but
No, we do.
yeah. No, we do.
We do.
Because otherwise it takes us a long time. It takes us months to actually put these together.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you could get your order in for those, that would be very much appreciated, because we will reach a cut-off where we just go, no, that's enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a fabulous rest of the day. Enjoy. We will see you live on Monday. Yeah, Fat Quarters, Half Meat Heavens tomorrow. Newsletter with lots of goodies and bargains in on Friday. We'll see you Monday.
Monday.
Take care. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.